Here we are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miko Milano and welcome at the opening live show of SMAO 2024. I'm Andrea Frola. I'm a journalist, an author, and a producer specialized in digital economy, technology, innovation, and sustainability. As someone might know, I'm very passionate about this topic, and this is why I'm so happy and a little bit excited to be here this morning and to serve as moderator. Before introducing the topics of this live show, I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Pier Antonio, Valentina, and all the SMAO team for the invitation and for the support in organizing this live show that is just a little but an important part of SMAO Milano 2024. As you can see behind me, innovation comes from everywhere. This is the title of this session. We have been, of course, influenced and inspired by one of Google's 9 principles of innovation. And it's fascinating to know that after 10, 11 years, more or less, this list that was first published in 2013 is still valid, effective, and useful for all kinds of innovators. We need to talk about multiple innovators, also because in recent years, open innovation has shown that innovation and disruption are not only a big business affairs. Innovation can indeed come from anywhere, but I will say, and I will add, from anyone and not necessarily within a company. Startups are probably the best example. Collaborating and cooperating with startups is sometimes or even often a good way or one of the best way to innovate in services, products, cultures, and strategy. This will be our story angle, but I don't want to spoil more. Let's kick off this opening session, and it's my pleasure to invite here the first guest, even if I don't know if here in SMAO Milano guest is the perfect word to introduce Pier Antonio Macola, President of SMAO.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Grazie, Andrea. Hello to everybody. So just a couple of things about SMAO. One of the main functions of SMAO is to connect the Italian innovation ecosystem to other international hubs, in particular Paris, London, Stockholm, Berlin, and San Francisco. We have been holding SMAO events in these cities for 6 years now, together with each agencia that is our main partner. In this international panorama, the mission of SMAO is to making connection and building relationships between startups, big corporate, and regional government, which have proven to be key players in the innovation ecosystem in Italy and Europe as well. Again, I would like to address a warm welcome to all our guests attending SMAO events and also to those who are following us on streaming SMAO channel. And grazie a tutti e benvenuti.
Thank you so much, Pier Antonio. We know if we talk about collaboration, we know that you collaborate with the ITA, the Italian Trade Agency, that plays a pivotal role in supporting the Italian ecosystem abroad. So I would like to invite here Lorenzo Galanti, General Director of the Italian Trade Agency.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and those who are following us online. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. It's actually my first time here. Thank you, Pier Antonio, for the invitation. We have a really long-standing partnership together with SMAO, I represent the Italian Trade Agency, which is a government agency working under the supervision of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to promote what we call the internationalization of Italian companies, meaning we promote Italian exports, we promote the attraction of foreign investments to Italy. Now, of course, innovation is a big part of what we do, and it is really cross-sectional, meaning that we do want to be innovation a protagonist in everything we do, in every Italian fair where we participate, particularly bringing operators from many countries around the world. We want to have startups. We want to have a dedicated corner of Italian startups. But here we are in the, let's say, kingdom of startups. And what the Italian Trade Agency does here is, I would say, three things. First of all, here today, we bring 39 investors, venture capitalists, business angels, let's say, protagonists of the innovation ecosystem from 21 countries to network, to familiarize, to get to know Italian startups. And also to understand how much Italy can be a hub for innovation. So we don't just aim to promote startups or innovative SMEs, but also Italy as a hub for innovation. But together with SMAU, we also have a roadshow by which we present SMAU and some selected Italian startups in three capitals of the world. This year, in the first half of this year, we had our roadshow in Paris, in London, and in San Francisco. In San Francisco, the Italian Trade Agency, together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has a special innovation hub, which we call Innovit. It's an accelerator incubator which aims to, let's say, facilitate Italian startups in familiarizing with the Silicon Valley ecosystem. But we also have several other programs. What we have today is also Italy Restarts Up, Italia Restarts Up. So you will see an area over there where all the foreign operators that we invite will meet, will have one-on-one meetings with Italian startups. And this, of course, creates a very positive, let's say, virtuous circle by which these protagonists will meet again in other places around the world, and so they will be able, let's say, to establish closer partnerships. Italian Trade Agency is also present at several global events on innovation and artificial intelligence. I'm thinking about the London Summit on Artificial Intelligence. I'm thinking about Viva Tech in Paris, thinking about the CES in Los Angeles. We have a program for acceleration which is called Global Startup Program. It's a global incubation acceleration program where also we work together with SMAU, and some of the startups that are here today are also part in those programs. We bring them abroad and we put them in touch with the local, let's say, investors and other protagonists of the innovation sphere. One important, and then this is my last point. One important thing, corporates, Italian corporates, they have to go hand in hand with Italian startups. And this is why when we do our roadshow, we also have the honor and pleasure to have Italian corporates with us. And I'm glad that they will be speaking today as well, because they are a key enabler in this, let's say, thrive for innovation. Of course, innovation is crucial for our future. We all read the Draghi report, innovation. We have to focus on innovation. The industry is there, the institutions have to be there. Italian Trade Agency with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is playing its part, and thank you very much again for our wonderful collaboration. Thank you.
What a good way to start. Main insight, Pier Antonio Macola, President of SMAU, Lorenzo Galanti, General Director at the Italian Trade Agency. Thank you so much. And to continue our opening, we are joined by Massimo Carnelos, who is Head of Innovation at the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Massimo will speak about the role of innovation diplomacy and how Italy is fostering innovating connection worldwide. Please join me in welcoming Massimo Carnelos to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Just a few words from my side. Innovation comes from anywhere. That's the title of SMAO this year. I would say innovation comes from the bottom. The real innovation, the breakthrough innovation, the disruptive ideas come from outsiders. They generally don't come from incumbents. Not surprisingly, if you see the 7 major listed companies in the world, out of the 10, the biggest 7, they were all companies that started as startups and they were invested from venture capital. Those companies and those technologies you find in your pockets is either a phone or software services. And this is the great leap that United States did and that the Draghi reports was explaining in terms of the weakness, the technological weakness and the gap in productivity growth that Europe has comparing to United States. So we need to celebrate the startups ecosystem, and I praise SMAO to celebrate the startups ecosystem as a lifeblood of any economy or any economies that want to be a forward-looking economy. It is important to stress, as Lorenzo has done it, the relations with medium companies, the relations with big companies, with corporates, with multinationals. But the relations between startups and more mature and established companies should be of our open innovation that should look more and more to purchasing innovation services, not so much about nurturing startups within a big corporates that then will potentially absorb the startups, but buy innovation products from a startup, because that will contribute to bootstrapping startups. You will not have the Googles, you will not have the Amazon, you will not have the Microsoft of today if all that open innovation was only internal operations absorbing the technology. Otherwise, you will never have big companies emerging from these relations with the corporates. That's why I say let's encourage flourishing startup ecosystems. A part of this flourishing ecosystem is the relations with more mature companies that purchase innovation system. In France, this happens, and that's why the average size of our startups in France is bigger than in Italy in terms of revenues, in terms of headcounting. So just a few words on the background, on the backdrop of this scenario. Lorenzo has explained what the Ministry for Foreign Affairs does, because we do it through Italian Trade Agency, which is our so-called operational arm, and we do it with a new sense of missions. Recently, the foreign ministers of Italy, Antonio Tajani, has launched a new hashtag, which is diplomacy of innovation. We have had for the last 2 years diplomacy of growth, diplomazia della crescita. We have this new hashtag which wants to express a whole system vision in promoting the country. So it's not only about bringing the companies overseas, either big or small and medium enterprises, or startups, and expanding their market visions, but it's also to attract operators from overseas, be it companies, talents, investments. So promoting Italy as a hub, as a place where is beneficial and there is opportunities to do innovation. So it's going overseas is just a way to strengthen domestically. So I thank you, and I wish a fantastic 2 days of SMAO.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Massimo. Thank you for sharing this vision of innovation diplomacy, and also for adding another call to action to our innovation puzzle. We mentioned at the beginning this concept of widespread innovation. Now it's time to verify if it can really comes from anywhere or not. Nothing better than real experiences, so I would like to invite here on the stage the first guest of this session, titled Innovation is a Need, Not an Option, Federica Santini, President of Trenord. You have the microphone? No? This is for you. Federica, welcome. Thank you so much for being here first.
Thank you for having me.
We met a couple of weeks ago. It was a video call meeting, and I was captured by your definition of Trenord. That was a 150-year-old startup.
Yeah.
Can you explain this curious definition?
Yeah, I will try. I was actually referring to the railway system in Italy. It's, I mean, over a century is history, facing new challenges every day, but in the end, doing a very ancient job. So the real challenge for Trenord and for all the companies of our very complicated ecosystem is to try to serve an old job in new ways, and most important, to focus on daily changing needs of our customers. And so meaning doing the old job, the good old job, but in a different way every
In a
day.
new way.
Yes, that's what I meant when I say that we are a 150 years old startup.
We are talking about future. You have just signed the new service contract with Lombardy region, and this open a long-term perspective for you. How does this contract really impact on your strategy?
So, as you said, it was a long journey to reach the signature of the contract that we actually signed last December, after over 4 years of negotiation with Regione Lombardia, and by the way, with the pandemic hit and many other, exogenous factors hitting this negotiation. As you probably know, we are now the second largest mobility operator in Italy, and about 30% of the whole Italian railway traffic is carried on by Trenord in Lombardia and in the other regions where we operate. And of course, having a 10 years perspective allows us to first of all, to plan. Secondly, to have certainties about the budget you can use for different purposes, but most important, allows us to have the serenity in mind to start innovating the service, or again to start doing the same old job in new ways. The negotiation was complicated, not just, Regione Lombardia is our main client and directly one of our partners and shareholders, but still the idea was to change the approach towards the train service we provide, meaning it's something I've already said several times because it's something very crucial to us, meaning it's not, the train anywhere, everywhere, anytime, but the train when needed, where needed. And of course, to have this major, change of perspective, we had to, show Regione Lombardia what we mean when we say where needed, when needed. And of course, we use the data to prove where the demand is and where the people need to go and where and when. And so it's not just about we want to keep the train because it's always been there. But we do need to provide efficient services to really improve the mobility of Regione Lombardia citizens, meaning when needed, where needed. And sometimes there are other alternatives that might be better than the train.
And this can make the customers happy, of course. The data topic leads me to another expression you used, that was an AI-inspired company. Inspired to do what?
Of course, it's a very high purpose, but the idea is that the starting point is that I believe that our main value is our people. We are 4,700 people within Trenord, and of course, people are our main value. But I'm fully convinced that artificial intelligence can really be and it's something we are already doing in some of the processes, can really be embedded in mainly, mostly everything that we do, starting from HR to maintenance, to predictive maintenance, to how to deal with our plants. We do have here in Lombardia region the plant of Fiorenza, which is the largest maintenance plant in Europe for the sector. So really, we can try to embed the AI everywhere in all of our processes. It's not always easy. It's not always so, automatic. But it's actually one of the challenges that we are facing right now.
Do you think it will impact more on the internal side or on the external side of the company?
I believe actually both, meaning probably it's from some aspects it's a bit easier to start from the internal processes because as I was mentioning before, we are part of a very wide ecosystem. So in order to influence external factors, we do also need to have some steps forward, i.e. from other actors within the sectors, but both sectors could be impacted, of course.
Because we as customer, we don't see the internal processes, but we know that it's really important for the service.
You cannot see them, but in the end you can perceive the change. I can talk about, for instance, the maintenance. We are now working on having a digital twin, with the BIM technology of our plants, and of course improving the quality of the maintenance services. And I'm not, of course, referring to safety and security because they are already top standards, but meaning in terms of improving the processes and so on. In the end, they have a very good impact on the quality of services, guaranteeing that the train is there when you need it. And it's
Federica, here many startups are involved in sustainability.
Yeah.
How does sustainability fit in the strategy you are describing?
I could be very easily respond by saying that we are trained, we are sustainable by definition. It would have been very easy, but of course we try to do something better, meaning like the new fleet. We together with Regione Lombardia, we have invested 1.5 billion in new fleet, and the new fleet is amazingly sustainable in terms of CO2 emissions and other aspects of the fleet. But there are some other aspects of sustainability to which maybe we refer less, such as social responsibility, which in my view is really key for a company like mine, which is in the end providing a public service. And if you allow me, there is a small but very important project I really care for that I would like to share today, and it's a sort of also call to action for the startups that are here today. I happen to be vice president of Agens, which is the Confindustria Trasporti, reuniting all the major companies leading transportation services in Italy, the largest or even the small. And as you probably know, November the 25th is going to be the International Day Against Violence of Women. And as you read the newspapers, the violence issues on board and on trains and on buses is mainly almost daily. And we are moving forward as Confindustria companies to face, to provide a common response to the problem and this very critical issue of violence, meaning against our colleagues, female colleagues, and of course female clients. And I believe that innovation and startups might be, helping us in reaching these very ambitious goals. So if there is anyone here at SMAO today, any startup that feels like that you have an idea or an app or whatever, I have some idea in my mind, but I'm not mentioning them, that might be helping us as transportation company in facing the challenge of fighting the violence against female colleagues and female clients, please show up. We will be here 2 days and we are very interested in that.
Federica,
Thank you.
feel free to applause, of course. Uh, do you think that the social side of sustainability is underestimated when we talk about innovation in general?
I don't think underestimated that it's probably less immediate. You know, it's so much, I mean, for my sector, it's so much easier to think about, you know, the green part of sustainability that sometimes you don't think about the other aspects, but they are as key as the climate change impact ones. So I would not say underestimate, I would say probably less sexy for some
Okay.
instance.
But you think that collaboration with startups and in general with the ecosystem can create a win-win model also for social sustainability?
I do think so. We do provide public service, and it's in the interest of everyone that the service we provide is a good one, because we always keep on, you know, talking about the right to mobility, which is one of the basic, in the end, human rights, or is an enabler of other human rights, such as right to work, right to study. So if the ecosystem supports us, so even the startups, if the ecosystem works better, we can do better in doing our work, of course.
Federica Santini, President of Trenord, thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you.
For sharing your
Grazie.
vision, your strategy, your project. Yeah. Now, another question is, do we need to settle for one story when we can hear more than one? Of course not. So I'm pleased to invite here the second guest of this session, who is Marco Checchi, Chief Executive Officer of Pelliconi. This is your microphone.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, please. Marco, in 30 seconds, what Pelliconi is?
Pelliconi is a company producing metal caps and plastic caps for the mineral water, beer, and other soft drinks industry. We have plants all around the world, 2 in China, 1 in Africa. Probably it will be 2 in the next few months, and 2 in the US, 1 in Canada, and we try to cover the world as much as possible. We are the leader in the world of this type of products, and we are trying to get an advantage on this.
You are an Italian excellence. You mentioned the caps. We know that cups are in our everyday life, but we know that cups are commodities, are not innovation itself. If cup is a commodity, where does the competitive advantage of a manufacturing company like Pelliconi lie today?
Yeah, you are half right and half wrong. It is true that the caps is not a big technological product, but you cannot imagine, if you don't know, how much technology is in this cap. Starting from the type of metal, the reducing of the thickness for sustainability purpose, different liner inside for different products, and especially we work with the customers because promotion today underneath the crown, underneath the cap is a big thing, and we are selling this type of promotion that not only give prizes to customers, but also collect the data from the consumers, and this is very, our customers are very keen on that. So I would say that the innovation is something that is characterizing Pelliconi since many years ago. And we believe that the role of the innovators in the industry, it's something that really count when we are going to make our commercial proposition, because our people take this as a big and strong harm to get to the customers.
Let's talk about the Liberamente project.
Yeah.
It's an entrepreneurship project Can you explain its origins, objectives?
Yeah, I think that as many as other Italian company, we went through period. There was a period where quality was things number one. Everybody was investing in quality. Everybody wanted to show to their customers how quality is important. I remember we were showing certificates, ISO, BAC, HACCP, a lot of certificate for quality. Then after quality, it became, in our case, sustainability. We are quite advanced in that. We have our sustainability balance sheet since 2011. And we are very proud of that, and sustainability is still, like quality, still accompany us during this year. After sustainability, it was the moment of innovation, and this innovation is more related to artificial intelligence, where we are not only talking about this, but we are trying to use it in our factory, use it in the machine, use it in the way we think. So just to make a long story short, innovation is something that is a kind of a fil rouge in all our years of existence. And I believe that this is the main objective that we have. Liberamente is a project to train people in our company to think like an entrepreneur. And thinking like an entrepreneur is always related to something new to propose to the customers, to the market. And what we do. You remember there was many years ago something called like box ideas, so where the people put their ideas. So we started from that, and the main difference is that the project that the people are proposing, everybody in the company are proposing to the innovation manager is something where they can start working on that and not only suggesting to the company. So the people will work on the project. They will be trained like someone that has to work in the innovation office, even though they are working in another function of the company. And I believe this is very important. They start to understand how those software for innovation are working, and they become, in a way, expert. We call them our innovation champion. We started a couple of years ago with that one, and we already train for innovation more than 200 people in our company. So I think that this is really the most important thing, having the basis of our company, of the workforce of our company, being trained to be an innovator, because company needs innovator. And you know better than me that the weakest ring of the chain is the power of the chain.
Marco, is there any economic reward?
Yes, of course, because if we want people to start to be entrepreneur, we need to give a reward to them. And for the project that win the contest, there are two kinds of prize. The first one, they will go for a couple of weeks in Silicon Valley in order to understand how one of the most important part of the world where innovation is doing, how they live the working day. So this is very, very important. The people that went there came back really different from they left the company. So it's a very successful thing. plus we give to the winning projects a part of the profit that the company is going to do. We are talking something roughly about 30,000 euro per project, and we are even there. People show a lot of interest, and I think that the most important thing is the atmosphere in the company. The atmosphere in the company has changed since we started that, because before we had the normal employee. Now we have people that are more interested in growing themselves, in growing the company, but especially they live the day life in a different way. And this is a very good result, because in the end, our major differences between us and our competitors are the human resources.
Happy people, happy workers.
Yes.
But Marco, so you provide a sort of profit sharing if innovation born in Liberamente boosts your revenues?
Absolutely. We give them this reward, but not only. We give working days free to follow their project.
How many? How many days?
A couple of days a week.
A couple of days a week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's something that cost us quite a lot of money, but the benefit that we are getting is huge. And I invite everybody to think to organize something like that in their own companies.
So you consider it an investment, not a cost?
Absolutely, investment. Investing in human resources lasts longer than anything else.
Marco, last question. You spent 42 years with Pelliconi. Is the desire to change, innovate, transform innate, or can it emerge along the way?
I would say that it's difficult to generalize, but I think that it could be, in a way, growth in the stimulate in the company, because you have people that born innovator, and other that they need to approach the innovation a little by little. And I believe that what we have to do is to give everybody an environment where they can develop their idea, their way of working, even in small changes in the office or in the factory.
A perfect closing with this message. Marco Checchi, Chief Executive Officer
Thank
of Pelliconi. Thanks for sharing your insight and your experiences. We have just heard vision from two top executives, President and a CEO, but what about the innovation executive? What about their priorities? We'll try to answer this question with the next roundtable. We have three other guests. Please welcome here on stage with me Stefano Brandinali, Group Chief Innovation Officer of Angelini Industry. Here, Stefano. Urbano Mimmo, Head of Innovation at Italtel. Urbano, here. And Filippo Della Casa, Chief Innovation Officer of Unipol SAI. A big applause for our three guests. Okay, Stefano, I would like to start with you and with Angelini Industry. After venture capital and R&D, last year you created a dedicated function for open innovation. What areas have you focused on most, and with which concrete projects?
Yeah, thanks for the question, and thanks for inviting me. By the way, this is my second year in a row. So the first message I want to share with the audience is that innovation is still surviving, because I exist. Usually, we are used to thinking about innovation as one of the many processes or departments within a company. So we think procurement, we think about operation, finance, and innovation. And I believe that thinking in terms of boundaries and borders is a big mistake. Because as you said in the claim, innovate can be everywhere. So there is no a single space to innovate. There is no a single time to innovate. So this is one of the reasons why last year I introduced the concept of n-dimensional hypercube. So I think that innovation at the end is a combination of different elements, different actors, different ideas. This is the reason why Angelini, after investing in innovation for ages, with the traditional R&D, for example, in pharmaceutical environment, in technological environments, decided to invest also in venture capital and established 4 years ago a company called Angelini Ventures that is investing in biotech and digital health. And finally, last year, decided to create a new function called 1.Innovation. And this is one of the functions that I am the honor of being responsible for. And I want to be clear about that. It's not a big department. It's not a large team. It's made of two people and myself. So let me say 2 people enough. The budget is very limited and capped, less than €500,000. That is nothing for a company that has a turnover of 2 billion and 300 million. And the aim, the objective of this department is to create connection, create link between our company and the ecosystem of innovation. That means universities, means research centers, and by the way, means startups. And this connection can generate a positive circle, a virtuous circle, because usually startups have good ideas, have good enabling technologies, and they are looking for some use case. Companies like Angelini have a lot of use cases that are looking for some enabling technologies. So what's better than connecting the dot and put these things together and create the relationship between the two things? You're asked some example.
Yeah.
We have several examples. I want to mention some figures. In 1 year, with only 2 people, we have scouted 500 startups. We have engaged 80 startups on specific ideas. Now we have 3 proof of concepts and 3 co-design development together. A couple of examples. The first vertical use case of generative AI focus on our industry. So we could say a private ChatGPT for our company, trained on our knowledge base. Or another example is a sensor to monitor the quality of wines, putting together a technology that we discovered in a university in Rome. It was an electrochemical biosensor. And we tried to use that biosensor on the wine quality, and probably we will build also a startup. This is an example of venture building. And finally, an innovative idea about sustainability. You talked before with Federica about how sustainability and innovation can work together, can work in parallel. We want to open a crowdsourcing platform for startups that have ideas on sustainability and want to partner us about that.
Stefano, you said I'm still here, and this is a good news.
Second year.
But what about the dysfunction 1 year later? Is it all smooth sailing? In Italy, we will say roses and flowers.
That's a good question. I am a positive person. I am an optimistic person. I am an enthusiastic person. But I have to say that I am feeling a decline in the enthusiasm about innovation. And we have to be honest about this fact. Probably after 5 years or 10 years of enthusiasm, excitement about innovation, we pass the peak of inflated expectation, and we are entering in the Gartner hype, in the valley of disillusionment. And in my opinion, this is a risk. Because I fear that due to the fact that we are not collecting all the expectation that we had before, the total amount of investment can decline. And this is something we have to avoid, and we have to maintain the optimism, but we have also to be honest about the results. So in this respect, I think that we should pass from the storming phase to the performing phase. Maybe we can skip the norming phase, or we can reduce as much as possible the duration of it, and we have to perform. So in a sentence, we need more facts and fewer words.
And that will be a great skip, so we need to boost the rhythm. Urbano, let's talk about Italtel and the experience of the innovation game. Can you explain your open innovation model and what are the most concrete examples of this vision?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Italtel is a century-old company. So we started building the networks that made half of the world speak. So in that days, the research and development department was a huge department. And we made innovation in a vertical way, within our boundaries, with people that were meant to produce innovation for the company. Today, the world is changed. It's changed profoundly. And innovation has to be made as a network. So we started working together with the innovation scene here in Italy. And we started also to bring a change of culture in the company. I really liked one sentence that the head of technology of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs pronounced a few minutes ago. He said, innovation comes from the bottom. So we didn't forget. Though we started working with the network of innovation, we didn't forget about our people and the fact that the people knows our priorities. We worked a lot with our management. We made the management focus on our priorities, talking about innovation. We built a call for ideas in order to stimulate our colleagues independently from their role, their hierarchic layer. They participated, they teamed up and started producing ideas. We collected some dozens of ideas and we funneled the process of innovation. We just cut it in pieces. We started from the strategy, then we collected ideas from the colleagues. Now we launched a call for startups that is active in these days. So guys from the startups, if you want to work with us, have a look to our challenges because we are looking for startups that are able to contribute to our challenges. And then the last phase will be the implementation phase, where we're going to work together in order to implement what we thought in the beginning. And what we are aimed to do is to build agreement processes in order to collaborate together with the startups in a joint go-to-market approach. And some of these experiences we are already doing with a few startups, and I have to say the things are building some acceleration inside the company. The people are starting thinking differently comparing to 1 year ago, 1 year and a half ago. So the results are already coming. We are really eager to see the result of this project and see if the implementation can impact the revenues of the company. That will be the demonstration that this kind of approach is really concrete. We have 5 challenges today that are out for the startups to see. Some are for implementing a virtual approach in order to bridge the distance among our company, between our company and the schools, the academy. We want to make the people more informed about what they can do together with us, starting from the secondary school. So we are looking for solutions that can implement this kind of new dialogue. On the other hand, we have a challenge that is aiming the smart grid transformation. In that kind of environment, we want to build a platform for the observability of the energy networks in order to bring what is about the IP networks in order to make the energy network intelligent. And we know we can make it.
Quickly mention the other 3 challenges.
Sorry?
The other 3 challenges, yeah?
Other challenges are about the knowledge management of the company. We have, as said, We are 1 century old, so we have a lot of knowledge that risks to go out of the company together with the people who are retiring finally. So we need to implement a method that can retain the knowledge and let it available to our new colleagues. So we are implementing a platform that for sure is going to use generative AI in order to verticalize our knowledge database and make it available for all our countries. We are present in 7 countries in the world, so also managing the competencies is a tough task.
Urbano, in 30 seconds, you mentioned your call to action, call to startups. The maturity level, the technology, the time to market, is there any ideal profile of startups you are looking for?
Yeah, I have to say, we have different kind of interactions that we can enable working together with startups. We also are working on, from 20 years at least, on funded research projects. So when it's about funded research, we also work with early stages startups in order to experiment new methodologies, new technologies, new use cases. When it's about for startup of the innovation game, we are looking for more mature startup that can already give us a product or semi-product that can be integrated to our technologies.
So it depends.
Yeah, it depends. Okay. And then a third layer, which is more business-oriented, which is with startups that are already approaching the scale-up. So in those cases, we already go and tender with them. We participate to big project together with them.
Okay. Last but not least, Filippo, Unipolsai. Filippo, the main concept of open innovation is changing and evolving years by years. In your case, what does open innovation really mean?
Thank you for the question, Andrea. Well, you know, it might well be that it's due to a kind of a, say, cognitive bias. Maybe, you know, coming from the fact that by education, you would say that my background is in the scientific field, that it's really hard for me to, you know, do kind of anything without a sound definition in mind. And well, in a way, defining innovation, what innovation is and what then open innovation is, might sound like something like an oxymoron. How do you define innovation and how do you define open innovation? And well, working for Unipol in a way helps because Unipol has a history of, you know, doing new things. Let me just mention the pioneering activities in the users-based insurance space. I think that the first MTPL, motor third-party liability telematics policy, was launched something like 20 years ago, maybe even a bit more. And Unipol is now running the largest European UBI users-based insurance program. So actually, we work in a company that has, as I said, a history of doing new things. But I would say that, with you know, some slight differences with the friends here with us. We are a bit older innovators. We started doing things in Unipol. It was Q3 2013, and defining innovation. It was, I mean, the very first thing was trying to define innovation and especially what do we do? Do we focus on doing new things or do we focus on enabling new ways of doing things? And I would say that the answer that we found was the second one. And this is, by the way, reflected in the structure itself of the innovation department that has a dedicated team to open innovation, like, you know, academia, research centers, startups, the entire innovation ecosystem. And it has a devoted company that is made of around about 100 professionals in the tech and data space. So yes, I would say that in the end, the definition that we went for, for innovation is enabling the business units with new capabilities to do things in a new way rather than doing new things. And the open innovation, activities that we also run have the very same fashion. Of course, we cannot develop internally everything every time better than anyone else. We try as much as we can as the projects, go very closer to the core insurance business of the group to develop at least the last mile internally, but we are happy to leverage the innovation ecosystem as accelerators for our project portfolio. And this means that we openly work together with many actors in the innovation field like SMAU and startups to, as I said, accelerate some of the elements of our project portfolio.
Filippo, in the last year, you have also built a sort of community of innovation champions. What is the purpose of the community, and how do you keep it engaged?
Yeah. Well, I think that another risk that might arise when you deal with this stuff that we call innovation is that you can call it ivory tower risk, or you can call it we are in charge of innovation and we know what the business units need. I think this is one of the best ways of failing fast and maybe not even that cheap. So I would say that the main purpose of the innovation champion community is that there is no better people who know what the business units need than people working in the business units. So again, I would say that there is coherence between the fact that we kind of enable them with new capabilities, but we don't think that we know what they need better than them. So the main purpose of the Innovation Champions community is to, gather inputs from them about what they need and about what the capabilities that we have built internally can, serve their needs in the best possible way. And how do we keep them engaged? Well, we have, of course, it's funny to say traditional instruments in the innovation field, but yes, let's say traditional engagement mechanisms. But I would say that there is no best way to, keep engaged people other than letting them see that what they need can be done and has been done. So in a way, if you can kind of convert the we could do if in we did this, if you can convert the verb from the conditional tense to the maybe even past tense, I think this is the best way to keep them engaged and involved in the continuous improvement that we try to foster within the company.
One last question for our guest. Stefano, I come back to you. You all talked about technology, but we know that this is not only a tech challenge, it's a human challenge. It's above all a human challenge. In your vision, what are the skills to be successful in the long term?
Let me bridge your question with what Filippo said now. Yeah. Innovation is a collective process, so it's not for one-man band. In this respect, the role of innovators like me is not to innovate, is not only to innovate, but is to coordinate the effort of the other ones, is to inject energy and enthusiasm. So I would say that probably we need specific skills that usually are associated to innovation, like creativity, lateral thinking, discipline, deep knowledge of new technologies, for example. But I think those skills are given. I would add at least 2 or 3 other skills that can be key success factor for the long term. The first one is teamwork. We need to work in a team. We need to work with other people, not alone. The second is associating. So we need to be able to connect the dots, to create link between things, elements that are very far away. And by the way, associating means making the sense of inputs at the end. So working in synthesizing what you can collect, what you can gather for the rest. The other one is questioning, passion for inquiring. Don't stop to ask why, to ask how, to ask what, but to ask also, what if not? You have to answer yes, because you have to be optimistic, but you have to add but. Yes, but there is something different, there is someone else. So those 3 things I think that are crucial. And let me add also the other final element, that is humility. Stay humble, listen to the other ones. If we can use what Steve Jobs said, stay foolish, stay angry, I would stay curious and stay humble.
And fly down sometimes.
Fly down.
Fly down. Urbano, do you think that the relationship between startups and big organization will change in the next year, or this is the main scheme?
Do you mean my organization, or
Yeah.
generally speaking,
Both.
big
Both.
organization?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, for what concerns our experience, I think that what we are investing in the scene of the startups will bring us to have a few startups that will be fully integrated in our offer. It doesn't mean that we will invest in equity within the startups that are working with us. We are investing in engineering, in sales efforts. We will give them an opening to a larger market than what they can reach working alone. So with those startups, we will be really partnering, okay? And I think that given that this methodology that we implemented has become a standard inside the company, a real process, we will keep cycling these innovation processes, working every year with new startups in order to solve new problems. So I think that we will have a structured process and a structured culture that will keep us really close to the innovation scene, and the startup will understand that they can work together with us in order to sit at larger tables. I think that, on the other hand, there is also the fact that sometimes the expectations are so high. You were talking about it. The expectations are so high that when you fail, you can be disappointed. But I think that this is part of the process, and we need to cope with it and start working for the innovation, because innovation is a must. And the fact that once in a while a project fails, I think it's part of the learning curve that we all need to go through in order to be more quick, in order to find the best innovation that you need and to implement it in order to bring the idea to the business.
Filippo, let's close with you. Just complete the sentence. An innovation project is truly meaningful and successful if?
Well,
It's a free question, so
some
it's
years
easy.
ago, some years ago, yeah, I think it was 2016, 2017, something like that. We went visiting the MIT Media Lab, and they were about to change their motto. In those days, their motto was demo or die. And I think that the new version of their motto that they were changing in those days reflects what we think as, being an innovation project as a success story. And their new version of the motto is deploy or die.
There is a little
That's
bit
it.
different. Stefano Brandinali, Urbano Mimmo, Filippo Della Casa, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, you can go. And we're at the end of this opening live show. Thank you for joining us in this, I hope, inspiring session. SMAO must go on and will go on today and tomorrow with more sessions, workshops, and opportunities. The claim of this year is be creative, be innovative, be open, and I would say enjoy SMAO 2024. Thank you so much.